Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ray Tampa podcast. Our podcast is new. Our podcast is bold, and truth is our guiding principle. But political correctness is out the door. We will tell it like it is. My name is Ray Tampa, and I'm the host of the Ray Tampa podcast. We have in our studio two superstars, my co-hosts, two very talented, intelligent gentlemen, Mr. Russell Cato and Mr. Jamie Wilson III. Today, we're going to tackle the subject of the oath keepers. What oath are they trying to keep? I'm going to read an article I wrote. After reading the article, my co-host and I will engage in a very lively discussion about the article. Here's the article, title first. Oath keepers. Bullshit. What oath are they trying to keep? Here's the article. Let me begin this article by stating in full what all federal government employees solemnly swear to do, even the president. Quote, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God, end of quote. On or before day one of their employment with the federal government, the Office of Personnel Management, OPM, has the employee sign an appointment affidavit, which has to be notarized. This affidavit becomes a permanent part of the employee's file. The oath of office, according to federal law, is divided into four parts. Number one, 5.U.S.C.3331 provides text for the actual oath members of Congress are required to take before assuming office. Number two, 5.U.S.C.3333 requires members of Congress sign an affidavit that they have taken the oath of office required by 5.U.S.C.3331 and have not and will not violate that oath during their tenure in office. Number three, 5.U.S.C.7311 explicitly makes it a federal crime and a violation of oath of office for anyone employed in the United States government, including members of Congress, to advocate the overthrow of our constitutional form of government. And number four, 18.U.S.C.1918 provides penalties for violation of oath of office described in 5.U.S.C.7311, which include, number one, removal from office, and number two, confinement or a fine. So the oath of office that federal employees must take, they must abide by. And if they don't, Here it is. It's a crime. And there are penalties spelled out. Furthermore, Executive Order 10450 defines what the word advocate means for law enforcement purposes. It is stated that any person taking the oath of office violates that oath if they advocate the alteration of the form of government of the United States by unconstitutional means. The Constitution defines our form of government and can only be altered by constitutional amendment. Otherwise, it is a criminal violation to advocate alteration of our government. Many, if not all, state governments have oaths that mirror that of the federal government's oath. Now, this brings us to the alleged terrorist group known as the Oath Keepers, a domestic extremist militant, a militia group that is. Recently, it was reported that the Anti-Defamation League's Center for Extremism reviewed a copy of the Oath Keepers membership roster. It was revealed that they have a membership of more than 38,000, and they have as members present and former military, law enforcement, including sheriffs and police chiefs, and others, as well as elected politicians.
Exactly.
This list should be highly scrutinized to vigorously punish any and all violators of the law. Oath keepers, yeah, right. What oath are they trying to keep? Certainly, it is not, and I emphasize, it is not the oath spelled out in this article. All the government employees who participate in Trump's attempt to alter our Constitution prior to January 6th, during the insurrection, and afterwards are guilty of 5.U.S.C 7311. Attorney General Merrick Garland, please do your job. We're hungry for justice to be done. In all fairness, it is well worth noting that federal prosecutors filed seditious conspiracy charges against the Oath Keepers founder and 8 co-defendants in June 2022. Allegedly, they coordinated to use force to oppose the transfer of power on January 6, 2021. However, it is sickening and shameful that at least 2,000 others are not facing the same charges. It doesn't make sense. Thank you. All right, fellas, let's get into it. Let's talk about the Oath Keepers. Let's talk about how they have violated clearly our Constitution, our laws, spelled out clearly. So, Jay, what you got?
First of all, I don't like this title that they give, the act that they did, this seditious conspiracy, basically plotting to oppose the transfer of presidential power. I get that. It should be just straight up treason. It should just be called treason. They're giving it a pretty name to lighten the effect, but it is treason against the United States of America. And that's how it should be treated.
Jay, you make a great point, and I agree with you. Forget all that other stuff.
Pretty names.
Forget all that other stuff. Let's get to the point. They committed treason.
They committed treason. That's the bottom line.
Against our government. Russ, how you feel about that?
I feel exactly what James said. You got to go back and look at how things are being done. Go back to the clans. They used the Holy Bible.
Exactly. Exactly.
The clans use the Holy Bible.
Mhm.
They do these kind of things too. But here's what it is, Ray. What on trial here is, first is the Constitution. That's on trial.
Most definitely.
That's on trial.
And our democracy, our government, but the Constitution
That's
is
right.
our form of government.
That's right. That's what's on trial. And the second is the federal system. That's on trial.
Mhm.
How are you going to get around this?
Yeah,
It's,
right.
How are you going to get around? If you're in high school and you're a high school government teacher, and I listen to Jamie, go back and look at the word sedition,
Mhm.
define it. Treason, define it.
Mhm.
Insurrection, define it.
Mhm.
All of these things that these people did.
That's right.
It's very simple. So I go back to you, Ray, what you're saying. Where is Merrick Garland in this thing? It's easy. This is not a complicated thing, Ray. Treason, insurrection.
Well, you're certainly not gonna get an argument from me, because if I was on a jury, I would ask, can I see that tape again?
Mhm.
Oh, guilty, guilty.
Yeah.
Which one are we talking about tomorrow? I want to be on the jury the next day too. I want to be on a perpetual
That's what I'm
jury,
saying. That's
Right.
exactly what I'm
a
saying.
perpetual jury, and they're all guilty.
Now,
If they were in that building
Right.
and they were trying to stop what the government was trying to do,
They do.
the peaceful transfer of power,
Yes.
they were trying to alter our constitutional form of government.
Exactly.
The fact,
Clear and simple.
right, the fact that they were on the property, these people, this thing was well planned months prior to this. They took weaponry, they took night vision,
Yeah.
scopes, tactical gear, everything, crossed the US for this day to come. I mean, this was prepared, orchestrated. And this got the leader, Stuart Rhodes, he's not a dumb.
No.
The guy is,
Yeah.
he used to be went to Yale, he was ex-paratrooper, and they handled this in a military style. This was all militia military style. They know what they were doing. They have the FBI, they have text messages,
Yeah.
all of that. Though they claim that Rhodes did not go inside of the building, he was a shot caller,
That's right.
he was a general.
Well, the charge is seditious conspiracy
Right.
He
to cover all of that.
conspired.
Right.
to alter our form of government, to stop the peaceful transfer of power. I don't give a damn if he went in the building
Or not.
or not.
Or
I don't
not.
even care if he didn't go to
Right.
Washington DC,
Exactly.
but he conspired.
He conspired, and it's on text.
It's on
He
text.
said there's a paper trail.
It's on
These
there.
people gonna learn to stop using his text messages. I'm telling you. Well, I tell you, anyway, it's in writing. They have it. They have the intent. Why is it taking so long? It's gonna be January 6th again,
That's right.
and nothing's done.
That's what they're trying to do.
You know?
You know, there was a movie that was produced in 1990. This movie. Paul Newman, Cool Hand Luke, failure to communicate. Remember that?
Mhm.
That's what we got.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, Russ, you're good going back and
Yeah.
bringing in some music and some new movies to relate to present day activities.
But let me tell you one of the biggest ones. Listen to this, Jim.
Mm.
In 1969, J. Edgar Hoover got on the radio and saying, listen, there's a group that is the most dangerous group in America. You know what you're talking about?
The
Yeah,
Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Black
Yeah.
Panther.
Because they were organized.
The Black Panther.
Organized. Yeah.
But J. Edgar Hoover,
He was.
he was the racist.
I
He
mean,
was a terrorist.
a
He
cross-dressing racist.
occupied a very important position in our federal government,
Yeah.
just like a lot of these oath keepers
Yeah.
are spread through
Yeah.
government positions.
Yeah. J. Edgar Hoover was so jacked up. Now he was known, and I can see him in this militia thing too, if something didn't go his way. But he was known, he was hard on gay people, arresting them, but yeah, he was a cross-dresser.
That's right.
You know what I mean? He did all type of stuff, but I digress. Let's
Did he
go
wear
back
high
to
heels too?
dresses and everything. Yeah, probably that old prison Kool-Aid.
J. Edgar Hoover with high heels on.
Yes, but So the actual people right now that I read, according to what's this here? BBC.com, the news.
Yeah.
They got Thomas Caldwell. All these people are like, they have training, they have status, they know what they're doing. So these are not just a bunch of dumb hooligans, you know what I mean? Jumping up to do something. I mean, you got Thomas Caldwell, ex-Navy officer, ex-FBI. I mean, you got Kelly Megg out of Florida. I hate when they have Florida on this nonsense. I wish we weren't part of this craziness.
Well,
But,
wait, Jay, that point, and then I'm gonna let you go back.
Okay.
A lot of the insurrectionists are out of Florida.
That's
A
terrible.
lot of them.
They should let us handle them.
Oh,
Let us do it our way.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, we got Kelly Meggs, the guy. Basically, he was accused of like marching up the east steps of the Capitol, so he was on the property. And this fool went on Facebook and, you know, bragging with the Proud Boys and the 3%ers about what they did.
Right.
So they got him on text. Then you got Jessica Watkins. She's basically like, rush the police, let's get in there. And they were in the Senate chambers during the riot. So she just basically like overthrow the police. So her and about 30 or 40 members
Right,
was on that.
right.
And you got Kenneth Harrelson out of Florida again. Well, I tell you.
DeSantis boys.
Yeah. Now this guy, they see what they have is a kill list. They have a kill list,
Yeah.
alleged kill list, but it's in writing what they have. He has a kill list, and this guy here, Kenneth Harrison, he was basically in the representative chambers looking for Nancy Pelosi. He's the one that's looking specifically for her. And they got that information, that ready.
You think if he found her, he would have tried to hurt her?
I think he would have, if he wouldn't have killed her, I think he would have hurt her because they're trying to make a name to look good for Trump. They're a bunch of rich, not all of them are rich, but the majority of them are just rich, stupid, just want to be doing something. But a real fight one-on-one, I would love to.
As a matter of fact, speaking of Trump, you know, he put out a statement that McConnell
Yeah.
is wishing for death or
A death wish, yeah.
based on his support for the Democratic proposed bill.
Yeah, that's a threat.
That's a threat.
That's a threat.
And like you said last week, why is he still walking around?
Really?
Why is he not in a jail cell?
This man, he's got the tax issue, the Mar-a-Lago, the top secret documents. I mean, he's got so many things against him, and he's none of these three separate things have him behind bars yet. None of these three.
But either one would have you behind bars.
Oh, definitely.
You too, Russ.
All somebody got
Me too.
Yeah. Oh, Jamie did. Oh, yeah. Where he at? Let's go to.
Let's go live
Yeah, let's go
in
get it.
jail.
You have to catch me though.
You see, that's what makes history so good.
Yeah.
Imagine you in a classroom and you're teaching this stuff.
Yeah.
And you tell kids sitting in the audience, look at the blind justice league. What does that mean?
Right.
You know, look at the quotes on the Supreme Court building where it says equal justice under the law.
None of that.
These kind of things are, right, these are the kind of things that you want to be in a classroom to teach.
Right. And you don't want to
And
teach
this is not critical race theory.
Right. This is life.
This is life.
This is our life.
So you have
Historical facts.
Yeah.
Call it what you want, DeSantis,
Yeah.
CRT, PPP, I don't care what you call it.
Yeah.
These are facts,
These are facts. These are facts of the law.
historical facts.
That's right. You can't,
You
I
know-
was talking a few minutes ago about violation of the 14. All these are facts, man. These are laws. Believe it or not, they were not put down by us. They were put down by them.
Right. They made it. And we weren't included from the start. But you know, I was watching DeSantis talk during the hurricane situation. He just looked like a fat, pink redneck.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah.
And I think being of Cuban descent,
I know.
he spent his whole life trying to fit in.
Yeah.
I bet he worked hard on his diction and his language so he didn't have an accent at all. I mean, I think he just wanted to fit in, and that is why he is that way. And he was taught while fitting in to hate or make it hard for any minorities. When he's a minority, anybody of color, he's passing, but he is Cuban, but he looks like a redneck.
See, you have to give.
His heart is redneck.
Here's where you have to get credit to Trump with this. It is Trump who made him like that. It is Trump who saw I got a disciple.
Yeah,
And let me teach you. DeSantis. He's a strong disciple of Trump.
He had his,
Well,
go ahead,
no,
Russ,
no,
sorry.
no, what he is, Ray, he's so powerful now within the Trump organization that Trump even scared.
that's
That's-
true.
that's
He
what
is.
it
That's
was.
why that's why they're at odds right now. He's stealing his thunder.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about the 14th Amendment. And what I just read in the article, it spelled out the oath
Yeah.
that people take and the provisions to penalize people
Yeah.
if they violate the oath.
Truly.
But I want to go to something else that gives Merrick Garland space for filing charges. So Merrick Garland filed charges.
Yeah.
This is from the Constitution of the United States, the 14th Amendment, Section 3. I'm going to read it to you all very quickly. Section 3, 14th Amendment. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive judicial branch member. These people are held to the same standards as others in order to obey our Constitution. I want to continue reading here. It says, judicial officers of any state to support the Constitution of the United States. They shall have not engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. So Merrick Garland, you got the 14th Amendment you can charge these people with. You have the oath of office concerns that you can charge these people with. You have a lot you can use. Use it.
Yes.
Use it.
And they're slow to pull the trigger. That's the problem. When you get other countries looking at how we react, that's why something has to be done. I mean, this is an attack on the Capitol, and you got other countries, including Russia. Let's see what these MFs gonna do. Let's sit here and see what they're gonna do. I mean, we're too slow to move. Any other country, they'll move. It wouldn't take a year.
Truly.
You know, we look weak. We look weak as a country, because I really thought like, oh, they're gonna get it now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna see some hanging on TV live. I mean, nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. I mean, I don't care who's in power, Democrat or Republican. It's still, the law is the law.
The law is the law.
The law is the law.
And you know what, Ray, you can go back and look at that 14th Amendment, Section 3. How do you find the word engaged? No, it's pure simple. All those guys were engaged, right? Every one of them, from the president to the Supreme Court, Justice White.
Yes,
They
yes,
were
yes,
engaged.
yes.
I don't care how you
Yes,
look at
I
it.
mean, it's just the fact that she had, I mean, the FBI should have been all over her. What is your part in this, blah, 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 like a real investigation. But yet, they got a paper trail on Trump and they can't do nothing with him yet. You know, they got a paper trail. Text messages, paper trail. Paper trail is much better than text message. And this man, they got paper trail on him. And it's just moving too slow.
It doesn't make sense, fellas. It doesn't make sense. And I go back to what I said earlier in the article. The founder of the Oath Keepers
Right.
and about 8 of his co-members
Spiritual.
are on trial.
Mhm. Mhm.
I say, and I think you two have already agreed,
Mhm.
there should be 2 or even 3,000 more on trial
Okay,
for the
definitely,
same charges.
definitely.
And Jamie, we can go back to what you said. forget sedition, forget conspiracy this and conspiracy that.
Mhm.
Charge them with treason.
Treason, that's a powerful word, treason.
Yeah, and
Treason.
let the jury, if they want to, downgrade it to something else. But put treason on their asses.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that, I mean, that's kind of unheard of. That's huge to storm the Capitol to do. I mean, that is,
Big.
I mean, it was televised. It was, I mean, it is huge. They should let us handle those people out of Florida. Let us.
Hey, let's name some of these other right-wing militia groups other than the Oath Keepers. And I'll start it off,
Yeah.
the Proud Boys. Give me one. Give me one.
A group,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say the Klans.
the Klan.
They got the 3%ers, the militia. I mean, true enough, it's a mixture of all.
Yes.
I mean, this is stemming back from Waco. These anti-government people, they're all in there. They've changed their names through the times. And they have, it's no different than, you take Chicago, the gangs you got 5%ers,
Right.
El Rukins, Peace Stone Hustlers, Four Corner Hustlers, Gangster Disciples, Black Gangster Disciples, Insane Gangster Disciples. You got so many gangs up there. I was there when I was in the military, went up there. I mean, you don't know what color to wear to keep from getting shot. It's crazy. So that's how these militia groups are.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of them, but they stand for the same thing.
Right, right.
We anti-government, we love guns, we don't like people of color. It's just, that's the bottom line. And they're taking our jobs and blah, 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 and they want things the old way. You know, they wanted the way we're talking about the writing, I'm getting a brain cramp. The Declaration of Independence,
Okay.
the way it was written, all of that. They want it that way. We weren't included in that.
No.
So that's why they want the good old days. When we were slaves, or even if after slavery, we had no voice, we had no power. That's what they want. We just need to keep mixing.
Yeah.
Brown and black need to keep mixing.
That's why Trump and his minions, when you ask them, well, when you say make America great again, what period of time are you talking?
Racist times.
Racist.
Jim
time.
Crow times. I mean, that's the bottom line, and you got to call it how you see it. And our black politicians, they don't speak enough. They step in fletches. They scared. That's what they are. They're an embarrassment. A bunch of them are, not all, but woo.
And James said something that is very important, and we need to do that. We're gonna keep black and brown people together.
Yeah,
That's what we got to do.
we're the same. Yeah.
Black and
I mean, let me tell you something. Do you think if Hispanics, dark Hispanics, if they had a look color back then, was here doing slavery, you think they won't wrap us with us too?
Yeah.
It's no different because you got all these biracial that was raping our black women. So a lot of them look just like Spanish. So they grouped them all.
we gotta keep
They went through it too.
Well, guys,
Don't let them fool you.
as always,
and
we're
James,
having fun.
I love it.
We're having fun. We're talking
I
facts.
enjoy this. It's
We're
real.
talking facts.
Yeah.
That being the case, I want to thank my two co-hosts, Russell Cato and Jamie Wilson III, for this discussion. And I want to thank you all, the listeners, for tuning in to 99.1 FM, The Bird, and ask that you do so each and every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Also, we ask that you go to YouTube, type in the Ray Tampa Podcast, and you can go to the Weekly Challenger newspaper and read some of the articles associated with our podcast. Lastly, sponsors
Amen.
are welcome.
Wow.
Sponsors
We need-
are welcome.
Preachers can donate too.
Okay, once again, good night. Thank you.